Right, guys, KO Boxing Vibe here. Errol Spence apparently has triggered the rematch clause to take on Terence Crawford. I don't know when this fight is actually going to take place. I know Errol Spence previously was talking about maybe the fight happening in December. A lot of people's been questioning whether they think the fight was going to happen at all, just because Errol Spence lost so conclusively. Like, Terence Crawford dominated that fight. It wasn't even close. Errol Spence never came even close to stopping Terence Crawford, never even came close to rocking him with any kind of shots. He couldn't even enact any sort of game plan on Terence Crawford, and it wasn't that the fact it's not it wasn't that Errol Spence wasn't good. It's just the fact that Terence Crawford is just better than Errol Spence. It's as simple as that. It was faster. As soon as the first fight started, Terence Crawford looked faster, and I was just like, I don't know how Errol Spence is going to fight the way he has been fighting and be able to deal with this speed and the counter punching speed and the way Terence Crawford can make adjustments, because he's not like these other guys that get intimidated and get steamrolled. Terence Crawford is very calculated in there, and he knew exactly what he was doing, and he planned with Bomac, what to do, and for all eventualities of what Errol Spence could bring. And to be fair, Errol Spence doesn't really have too much variation from fight to fight. He uses his sheer will, sheer drive. He breaks these guys down. But how are you supposed to break down Terence Crawford when you've got quick counters coming your way every time you're trying to land anything of significance? So these are things Errol Spence is going to have to deal with if he wants to have any sort of success against Terence Crawford in a rematch. A lot of people are saying that they think, Errol Spence should just move up to 154 and just leave it. Some people are saying, oh, he should take the rematch to right the wrong. And some people are saying that Errol Spence should retire, because of all the things that he has been dealing with. And we can't say that those things haven't had some sort of an impact, because it will. Punch resistance, we don't, because I've never seen Errol Spence look that vulnerable in terms of punch resistance. Obviously, Terence Crawford hits hard, but, should Errol Spence really be looking like the way he looked? I don't know. But, yeah, man, I just feel like this fight, if people are still going to buy the pay-per-view, people are going to buy the pay-per-view because boxing sells on what if. Boxing sells on what if, and Errol Spence is gonna make it out as though he wasn't really himself in there. He has already been saying that he felt kind of, well, I don't know if he said it himself, but it's out there that he felt kind of drained, still squeezing himself down into 147 pounds. Now I believe in the contract they did sign, excuse me, for the fight, Terence Crawford gets to, I think, apparently choose what the rematch will be, what weight the rematch will be at, whether it's at 154 or 147. So I don't think Errol Spence really has much choice in that. He's probably banking on Terence Crawford putting the fight out there at 154. So there's no fans coming up with excuses saying, oh, Errol Spence was too small at 147 pounds. But I feel like even if they fight 154, 147 pounds, I feel like Crawford, it's styles make fights, and I just feel like Crawford's just got the skills and the know-how and the speed to deal with Errol Spence. What's Errol Spence gonna do differently to beat Terence Crawford in a rematch? That's the question, because we haven't seen Errol Spence fight any much differently. How he's been fighting has been working. Hasn't worked. It didn't work here, and you know some people are gonna be like, he's had some, but he looked good against Ugas and he looked good against Danny Garcia. It's just that he's fought a better fighter in Terence Crawford. And should he be taking a rematch? Should he just move up to 154? You know, I feel like he could do a lot better there at 154, because he has been at 147. He is a big 147 as well. But people like Errol Spence, he's going to want to have another shot at redeeming himself, because I'm telling you, after when he rewatches the fight, he's gonna be annoyed at the way that he lost. He's not gonna be happy. He's gonna be watching it thinking, what? Like, I didn't even make any sort of account. I didn't land anything of significance. You know, a lot was done in terms of like the build up. Bomac has been talking, and he went there. And, yeah, people just need to remember that he claimed Errol Spence's belts. Like, Terence Crawford became undisputed welterweight champion. You don't think like a champ in Errol Spence is gonna want to try and get those belts back. Whether he can win or not is kind of irrelevant. It's more of the fact that these people, these kind of fights with this kind of mentality, they don't think like everybody else. He will put himself back in the firing line just to have a shot at winning the belts. Even if he was lost, he wants to make like a better account of himself. But I'm very sure he's not thinking about losing. But still, he's probably thinking, let me go in there, let me see if I can pick up my belts, and I'm going to war. But it's easier said than done because the first fight was just so conclusive, man. I don't know like what Errol Spence is gonna do. Like, what's the game plan? How should Errol? What you guys drop your comments in the comment section? But how would you guys say Errol Spence should approach this rematch if it does happen? And they're saying he really has triggered the rematch clause. How should Errol Spence approach this fight? Because for me, look just for my memory of obviously how the fight went, he was really planting his feet a lot, and he was giving Terence Crawford all these opportunities for counters. He wasn't really sharp enough. He wasn't really fast enough. His feet, he wasn't moving his feet quick enough. He was sitting in the pocket too long. He reached, and Errol Spence has the knack of reaching in to land this long straight hand to the body, and he just leaves himself wide open for Terence Crawford's counters. So he's gonna have to be quick on his feet. He's gonna have to stop giving Terence Crawford just open season opportunities for fast counters. And that is, similar to how Errol Spence got dropped the first time in the fight. He got dropped the first time he got dropped. He was overreaching in to land a jab to the body, which I don't think actually landed, and then he got caught. I think was it a left of two of I think it was a jab and then a right hand. I think two sharp jabs, sharp right hand jabs. I think from what I recall, and then he got dropped. So there's a lot of things he's gonna have to make adjustments for. I saw a poll somewhere about him and Derek James. If I don't know, questioning whether they're still gonna be you know together for this fight. Whether Derek James is going to train him or not, I haven't really seen anything on any official source. I need to double check that if it's true or false. Is there any trainers out there that can help Errol Spence in terms of a difference? I don't really think so. There's not much you're going to change within a short space of time. Errol Spence is going to be Errol Spence. He's not going to change anything substantial. Like, he's going to be himself. The question is, can he make the adjustments to beat Terence Crawford? I would give Terence Crawford most likely chance of winning that fight again stylistically, and just because I know that Terence Crawford he likely knows what Errol Spence is going to do differently. If I'm saying what I feel Errol Spence will do differently, you think Terence Crawford and Bull Mac and them man don't know this? They know. So listen, it'll be interesting to see obviously what Errol Spence does differently. I highly suspect Terence Crawford will win the fight again. Even if the fight ends up going longer, if it goes 12 rounds, I just feel like just because of the punch variety and the volume of punches Terence Crawford has, especially from round 3 and above, once he's got a read on a lot of these guys, he starts putting shots together. I just see Terence Crawford winning the fight. But it is boxing. Can Errol Spence bring out some kind of performance that we've never seen? If there's any fight in the welterweight division to do it, it is Errol Spence. People forget this guy's an elite fighter. He's beaten your Dennis Ugas, he's beaten Sean Porter. He's beaten guys. Like, he's not just he's beaten Danny Garcia. Like, he's got names on the resume. Errol Spence, arguably more than Terence Crawford. So he's a seasoned fighter. It's just about question is what weight is the fight going to be at? What adjustments can Errol Spence make in a short space of time? And would it be enough to beat Terence Crawford? And I believe most people think it wouldn't be enough. But let's see what happens, man. Drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Errol Spence having a rematch? Apparently enacting a rematch clause to take on Terence Crawford again. When will this fight be? I know Errol Spence is going to have to get recovery in, because that fight, he got punishment. He got punished in that fight badly by Terence Crawford. So I suspect that fight maybe could be early next year. I doubt it'll be in December. Probably early next year. I know Terence Crawford is looking to want to fight Jamel Charlo, if he's to get I think he'll fight Jamal Charlie regardless of whether he beats Canelo or doesn't beat Canelo. He'll probably still fight him. And Terence Crawford's talking about himself fighting Canelo. Terence Crawford wants to move up to 168 pounds to fight Terence Crawford, to fight Canelo. It's a big money fight, but he's gonna be too small. Moving up to 160, that's gonna be so unnatural. Excuse me, unnatural for him to move up there. So yeah, a lot of things going on, man, in boxing right now, especially between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. But let's see where it goes, man. All roads leads to potentially a rematch. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me see what you guys think about this potential rematch. Cool.